Hi, I'm Havilah. It's day 10, and today we're talking about men. Yes, men. Haven't we waited 10 days to talk about this? Okay, so today I'm teasing. Today is all about understanding how we're to view men in our lives and how we talk to our sex drive and about what we see. So when we talk about men, we have to understand a little bit about our culture and how they portray men in our lives. I think there are two aspects of how we look at men. I think the first one is all about this glorification of men, this knight in shining armor, this man that's unattainable, this man that once he chooses us is going to validate us. And so we have this kind of fantasy man, if you will, that if we get in our lives, it will come in and change everything. And that's just not real. Secondly, we have this kind of degrading aspect of men where they're the joke of the sitcom. They're the guy that's not taken serious. They're the man that can be mocked or disrespected. And at the end of the day, it doesn't count because, hey, they're not part of our fantasy world, so it doesn't matter. And really, both of those are not at all how God created a man and not at all how we're supposed to look at them. We need to understand first that God created man in the garden first and that they are a product of his creation, and they're to be honored and loved, and they're to be looked at as brothers. Every man in our life is designed to be a brother unless God redefines it, which means we're to look at them as someone of value and part of our family until God says, hey, guess what? That one's for you, and they're your spouse. And even still, I remember talking to a girlfriend who had a great marriage, and I asked her, how do you do it? How do you have such a great marriage with this guy? And she said, I remember early on in our marriage, the first thing I decided was that I would look at my husband as my brother first and then my spouse. She said it actually set the standard of our relationship that I would always honor my brother. I would always love him as a brother. I would always care for him as a brother. And then secondly, as a spouse, which created that level of respect. So I want to encourage you with that. Also, I want to hit this. It's really important that we don't spend time fantasizing about men that are not our husband, even if we're single. You see, what happens is we think that when no one can see what's going on in our heads, it doesn't count. But guess what? It does count. And we were created that what we behold, we actually become, which means what we actually think about, we end up walking out, the Bible says. And so we need to be careful that even if we're single, we think it doesn't matter. Well, guess what? The habits we practice today, we will live out tomorrow. So just because you get married doesn't give you a right that all of a sudden, well, guess what? I'm married. I don't have that practice of fantasizing about anybody. It's not true. In fact, the enemy will use it as a weapon against you when you're married to have that freedom to fantasize about somebody else, and it will end up really hurting your marriage. So my thought is this. Every man is a brother until God redefines it. Watch what you're thinking about. Tell your brain what to think. Interrupt your mind and say, no, I'm not going to degrade my brother like that until God defines him as my spouse. And only then will I break that covenant with my mind and my eyes to see them differently. Okay? Day 10, here we are. We'll see you tomorrow at day 11.